Jesus never drank coffee. He drank something with 9 times more real energy in it. And it's still growing on trees right now, ignored, while you pay $5 for a cup that gives your body almost nothing. I'm going to name it. I'm going to show you the verse. I'm going to show you the nutrition data next to a coffee label so you can check the math yourself. And I'm going to show you exactly how to make it tonight, for pennies, with just 4 easy ingredients from your local grocery store. But first, a shoreline before sunrise. Nets are already wet. Men have been on the Sea of Galilee since the 4th watch, 3 in the morning, hauling in whatever the night gave them. They come ashore cold. Someone has a fire going on the beach, and beside it, there's a clay jar. It's neither wine nor water alone. It's something dark, ground fine, and waiting to be poured hot into a cup. That jar holds roasted carob, sourced from the Ceratonia siliqua tree. It grows wild across the hills of Judea, the same hills these men walked every day of their lives. Its pods are hard, dark, sweet when roasted, and they've been part of that landscape for longer than anyone alive could trace. Archaeologists have pulled carob remains from sites in northern Israel dating back tens of thousands of years. This tree was already ancient when the temple was still standing. Scripture doesn't skip it. Luke 15:16 puts carob pods in the hands of a starving man, so hungry in a foreign country that he wanted to eat what the pigs were eating. The word in the original Greek is keration. It means one specific thing: carob pod. That single detail is why this tree still carries a nickname across the Mediterranean today, St. John's bread. Tradition holds it's what carried John the Baptist through the wilderness, pod after pod, when nothing else was growing. Now the number I opened with: 9 times more energy. A cup of black coffee holds somewhere between 2 and 5 calories. That's it. Almost nothing for your body to use. What you feel after drinking it isn't fuel. It's a chemical block. Caffeine sits on your adenosine receptors and interrupts the signal that tells your brain you're tired, so practically it doesn't feed you. It simply gags the message. Roasted carob, ground and steeped, delivers close to 200 calories of sugar per 100 grams. Sugar your muscles can actually burn. That's how the gap between borrowed alertness and real fuel looks, and it's where the 9 times number comes from. You can check it yourself. It actually holds up against any nutrition database you pull. Calcium tells the same story. 2 tablespoons of carob powder carries roughly 8 times what your coffee cup gives you. Iron too, enough in one serving to matter to someone who's exhausted no matter how much caffeine they pour into their body, because the problem was never caffeine levels. It was iron the whole time. B vitamins, B2, B6, real traces of B3 and B9 sit inside that same cup. Coffee carries none of them. It was never built to. And the best part is, carob skips the parts of your morning drink that are working against you. It doesn't trigger caffeine dependency. Unlike cocoa and tea, it doesn't have oxalates, so there's barely any risk of blocking calcium absorption. Independent testing has logged over 20 separate polyphenol compounds inside carob fiber alone. Nobody engineered this. It's just what the pod has always contained. There's more history behind this pod than most people realize. Carob has a documented use stretching back to ancient Egypt, where it was used both as a food source and in early forms of preservation. The Greeks gave the seed its name, keration, and because carob seeds were famously uniform in weight, ancient traders used them to measure precious metals and gemstones. That's the origin of the word carat, still used today for diamonds and gold. Carob pods are also naturally gluten-free and don't contain the stimulant compounds found in either coffee or cacao, which is part of why some modern nutrition researchers have studied it as a coffee and chocolate alternative for people sensitive to caffeine or theobromine. The tree itself is remarkably drought-resistant, native to the Mediterranean basin, and commercial carob production today is concentrated in countries like Spain, Italy, Portugal, and Morocco, the same region where this drink would have originated 2,000 years ago. So if this drink does more for your body than coffee, at a fraction of the price, why do barely any health advisors recommend it? Ask yourself that honestly. Nobody's hiding a conspiracy file on carob. It's simpler than that. There's no patent on a tree. No brand owns the rights to a pod that grows wild on a hillside and asks for nothing in return. A product nobody can package exclusively is a product nobody funds research on, markets on, or puts in front at a conference. Silence isn't always a cover-up. Sometimes it's just the absence of profit. If your family came from the Mediterranean coast, from North Africa, from parts of the Middle East, from towns across Latin America, somebody in your bloodline drank this before you were born. They never needed a verse to justify it. They simply watched it work every single day of their life, and they never once called it ancient wisdom. They called it Tuesday. Also, remember, coffee didn't win because it was better. It won because it's a drug. It arrived out of Ethiopia in the 15th century, moved through Ottoman trade routes into Europe, and once a population starts drinking it daily, that population doesn't stop. Caffeine creates genuine physical dependency. Colonial shipping routes turned that dependency into an empire. Carob couldn't compete with something engineered to be craved. It got demoted to livestock feed, then resurfaced in the 1970s as a chalky chocolate substitute that tasted like cardboard. That gave it a reputation the crop never deserved. If you're not convinced enough yet, pull a container of ice cream out of your freezer right now. Check the ingredients. Locust bean gum, additive E410. That's carob. Ground carob seed, refined down into a thickener, sitting in your kitchen under a number instead of its actual name. Now, you may ask, okay, carob is good, and I want to try it, but how do I prepare it? Trust me, it's super easy. Let's make it together right now. Take 2 teaspoons of roasted carob powder into a mug. Add 4 fresh mint leaves, 2 or 3 hyssop leaves, fresh or dried, and 1 dried fig. Now, pour water just off the boil over everything. Let it sit 5 to 7 minutes. Watch it turn a color close to weak coffee. The mint and hyssop release their oil into the steam while it steeps. The fig softens and sweetens the whole cup without a single spoon of sugar touching it. But what if you want it sweeter still? Well, 1 small spoon of raw honey finishes it. That's the 5th ingredient Scripture never left out of anything it touched. That's the entire first step. Don't build it up bigger in your head than it is. A bag of roasted carob powder costs $3 to $4 and makes close to 40 cups. 1 specialty coffee costs more than that entire bag and gives you nothing but a crash by 11 in the morning. And if you want to go 1 step further, you can try this. Mint grows in a 6-inch pot with 4 hours of sun and water every few days. First harvest inside a month, and it survives almost total neglect. Hyssop is a perennial across most of the United States and Europe. It's drought tolerant. If you plant once, it will keep returning on its own every spring after. The 3rd ingredient, dried figs, are easily available in any grocery store. Or you can dry your own from a backyard tree in a low oven over a few hours. And if your climate allows it, the carob tree itself grows into something that outlives the person who planted it. Start wherever fits your week. The cup tomorrow morning, the mint on a windowsill by spring, the tree in the ground for someone who isn't born yet. Each step stands on its own. And yes, carob won't be the last thing I find buried like this. There's more sitting in these verses than anyone's told you. I just have to go looking for it. Stick around for when I do. Subscribe, and share with someone who still thinks their morning cup can't be improved.